Naked Shamanism. Welcome to With Insights Radio. I'm your host, Iggy Garcia. I will take you on a journey across the universe through shamanism, metaphysical, and holistic. So sit back and relax and enjoy the show.
Here we go. What's up, everybody? Iggy here. Hope you're all doing well today. Just wanted to welcome everybody to the show. Welcome to Iggy Garcia Live here on streaming on With Insights Radio. If you haven't been to With Insights Radio, check it out. It's full of a whole bunch of past episodes and a whole bunch of information. So we're here. So hopefully you'll be able to stay with me for a little bit. Adjust my phone there a little bit. There we go. So, like we start every show, we're going to give thanks to those who came before us, the ancestors. So we light a candle. And many of us have different ancestors. So we have multiple ancestors. We have indigenous ancestors, European ancestors, but they're all part of the group. They're all part of the system. They're all part of why we're here. So I raise a candle to them, give thanks to them, honor them, blessings, giving thanks, dear ancestors, dear Great Spirit. I ask for your guidance tonight as I embark on this journey of sharing and talking and expressing and, going to that place where I need to go for the moment. Just ask that I be guided and with the correct words come out of my mouth. And may my ancestors help me through this journey and that you guide me in the right direction. So, I owe to all my family and my ancestors. Let this candle light here while the show is going on. My little ceremonial sage just to kind of set the tone a little bit. Just clear the energy, clear the space. It's good stuff, man. Take the smoke into my eyes so I can see all the beautiful things. Take the smoke into my mouth so I can speak all the beautiful things. Take the smoke into my ears so I can hear all the beautiful things. Take the smoke into my heart, my spirit, my soul, so I can be one with all the beautiful things in the universe, and may the highest purpose be served. We'll let that burn over there. Excuse me, a little congested for some reason. I had myself a little ginger tea before the show. So I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's doing okay. I hope everybody's where they need to be right now. There's a lot happening in the world. There's a lot going on. As usual, per se, we're all here where we need to be, sharing and being what we need to do. But either way, I hope you're doing good. I'll read some of your comments here. All right, I see people are asking for some money. Okay, if you guys can send her some money and help her out, that'd be great. But anyhow, so where we're at here, what I wanted to talk to you today about is where you're at, why you are, and why I am in the situations that we're in, and why we find ourselves in the moments, in these predicaments that we call life, and the things that hold us back. So what I find sometimes, life kind of gives us a bunch of opportunities to do a lot of different things, to express ourselves in ways that, could be positive or negative. But really, the true factor is it positive? Is it negative? Is it really? Or is it just an experience? So many of us get stuck in the old rhythms of life. And when I mean old rhythms of life, I'm talking about the things that hold us back. Okay? All the things that no longer truly exist except for inside the crevices of our mind, our spirit, and our soul. The things that hold us back. And those are the things that really detrimentally hold us back. For a lot of us, we don't know how to navigate outside of that because that becomes our story, becomes something that is ingrained in us. So how do you get out of this kind of situation? How do you move from one space into another when you've been stuck for so long in the energy that you're stuck in? All of us are stuck in some kind of energy, good or bad, doesn't matter. However you want to look at it, it's we're stuck in it. Some of us have a great life. Some of us are doing wonderful things and amazing things. But then there's some of us who just seem to keep repeating the same old patterns, the same old stuff, the same old things. Now, every question and every answer and every decision will be different for everybody because what you decide to do with your life is basically up to you. In the end, you have the final say. It doesn't matter what Iggy says. It doesn't matter what anybody else tells you. It doesn't matter what your best friend told you. What happens is we all get stuck in our own stories. And our own stories become so real and so entrenched that we don't know what to do. Now, we can find all kinds of help. We can go to psychiatrists. We can go to a coach. We can go to a hypnotherapist. We can get hypnotized. We all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. So we're always hypnotizing ourselves to believe things or to hear things or be part of things. But regardless, we're here. We're here. So how do we get out of the energy that we are in sometimes? The energy that holds us back? Well, we have to look back and we have to reflect and we have to see who we are. Look in the mirror. We definitely have to look at ourselves in the mirror and say, hey, are we okay where we're at? And if you're okay where you're at, good. There's not much that I can say to you at this point in this juncture. But the point is, if you're there and you can't seem to move from that energy that holds you back, then we have to do a lot of reflection. Because remember, it doesn't matter what happened yesterday. It doesn't matter what happens in the future, because the only thing that we can actually tangibly, physically see is right now. Everything right in front of us, everything that is the present moment, is the only thing that we have any control over. If we even have control of that. The illusion is that we think we're in control, but are we really in control? We're in control in steps and pieces and parts, because we're not truly in control of our lives. We've given ourselves the opportunity, the illusion that we're free people, that we can do whatever we want. We can run off and just leave whenever we can. But that's not true. That's a farce. That's a true farce that, that all of us live. There are a handful of us here who can probably just get up tomorrow and just go wherever we want in this world, in this country. But for the majority of us, we can't do that. The majority of us cannot, because we're stuck in the routines. We're stuck in the story that we've created. Remember, our ancestors before us created all the levels that we have and all the things that we're experiencing right now. Everything that you feel right now, everything that you're entrenched in, somebody else created that for you. Somebody else made that for you. Somebody else said, hey, we're going to do it this way. That way it all is in order and nobody has to run astray. So the poor stay poor, the rich stay rich, the middle class stay middle class. But regardless, we're here. We're all here. Those of you who are alive and breathing and kicking, we all have stories that we share. We all have these things that we talk about, and all these things that lock us into our feelings and our emotions. It doesn't matter who's president. It doesn't matter who's the king of England or queen of England. It doesn't matter. What matters is how you move through the world, how you move through the life that's been given to you, the opportunity for you to express yourself. How do you do that? How do we move through that? How do we get into that place? How do we get into that energy? Well, I'm here to tell you this, that you can create anything you want. You can do anything you want. Oh, but Iggy, I've done that. And everyone, listen, if you created this already, that's in front of you, all the stuff that you've done, you've created, you've helped create that. You are part of that game. You're a part of that plan. And sometimes we just give ourselves away. We teach people how to treat us. We teach people how to express themselves towards us. As same as they teach us. When someone's a jerk, they've taught us how to respond to that. When someone's nice to us, they've taught us how to respond to that. And that's the truth, folks. When someone's good to you, you tend to treat them pretty good. If someone's a dick or an asshole, you tend to treat them wrong. You tend to push them into the spaces that doesn't serve you. But then there are some of us who are like, I wonder what's wrong with that guy. I wonder what's going on in his life. I wonder what's going on in her life. But here's the thing. A lot of us, we're paying the price because of the things that we've been taught, the things that we've been shown, the things that our parents taught us, that our ancestors taught us, that our grandma and grandpa taught us. And we buy into this stuff. All of us have bought into it. Every single human being on this planet has bought into it. The poor stay poor because the poor don't know how to get out of the situation they're in, because they have been taught to be poor. And even though they struggle and they push and they move and they do, and there's a few people who escape the poverty of that, and they do escape, some of them. But then there's a lot of us who don't escape. There's a lot of us who don't make it out. Who don't make it out. You know? A rich person, okay, isn't necessarily the smartest person. Okay? So don't think just because someone has a lot of money that they're intelligent. Oh, that makes them smart. No, that's not true. Okay? Situations, factors play into it. It could be that they have inheritance. They could have had somebody help them. There are a lot of self-made people who had nothing and they worked through it. But none of them, when they get to the upper echelons of them, did it by themselves. Not one person. They have all had help. They've had somebody there. Somebody's moved them through the energy. Someone's moved them. No man, no woman is an island. You cannot succeed unless you have other people who are either as intelligent or more intelligent than you, okay, who are willing to follow your vision. If you don't have vision, if you don't have desires and dreams and goals or imagination, it makes it difficult. Then you pretty much default to the system that you've been given, the system that's right here in front of us, this system right here. Trust me, this system right here, it doesn't really serve a lot of people. It serves people who have a lot. The wealthy, it serves the wealthy. I'm not knocking the wealthy here. I'm not knocking the poor. I'm just stating facts that I feel are true facts. That poor people teach poor people how to stay poor. Rich people teach rich people how to be rich. The rich teach their kids how to stay and be in the energy that they're in. And poor people struggle to move out of that energy because they don't know any different than the energy they're in. Oh, but Iggy, people can pull. Never said that no one could pull themselves out. Never said that, and I'm not gonna be arguing that fact. But the fact is that people teach people how to stay in energy, and so the energy that we learn is usually from the people who were before us, the people who gave us the knowledge, gave us the roadmap. The roadmap is powerful. Because people have been stripped of their dreams, people have been stripped of their imagination, people have been stripped of all the things that humanity does in order to control other human beings. If you don't think the other human beings control people, all you got to do is turn on the TV. All you got to do is watch a movie. All you got to do is watch certain things on TV, like The Matrix and movies like that. Any superhero movie you can watch, the same thing. Any romance and everything that you watch, there's someone loses out, someone's heartbroken. These are the things that program us. If you don't think that stuff programs you, you're kidding yourself. All that stuff is programming, every single aspect of it. Now, do I watch it? Yeah. Do you watch it? Yeah. We all like entertainment. We all like to be, stroked and feel good and sometimes look at somebody else's life. But where does this all come from? Where does this all stem from? Where does anything stem from? The creation of these incense sticks that someone gifted me for my birthday. This little grout blade remover, helps remove the grout. It's a blade, right? These iPod shuffling kit, where's it come from? These little pandas that my mother-in-law gave me. Where does anything come from? Anything that's on my desk, where does it come from? Where does it appear from? These Sharpie pens, this microphone, this cell phone, this computer, as I'm streaming through 2 different platforms as I speak. Where does it come from? It comes from the imagination of human beings. This is how powerful human beings are. But human beings don't give themselves enough credit. We don't give ourselves enough credit to say that we have power, that we have a gift. We're super gifted, man. The imagination station of human beings is powerful. Listen, somebody's imagination created the system that we're all living in. Somebody had the vision and the imagination to create something that would encapsulate and box us all in. And we all bought into it because our imagination wasn't strong enough or was dumbed down. Now, all of us have an opportunity to create, all of us have an opportunity to make, but it takes work. It takes work. It takes work to get out of the situation and the standards of living that you're in. If you don't like where you're at, then you're going to have to work to get out of it. Some of us will, some of us won't. It doesn't matter. Some of us don't care. Some of us will stay where we're at. But I'm going to tell you, I'm where I'm at because of all my stinking thinking and all the things that I've created, believing that this is how I'm supposed to be. Well, God forbid that I want that. It's not even being about materialistic because that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about creating a standard of living where you're happy and you're in content and your life is good because you created that. But it starts with your imagination, the station of your brain, the imagination station right here. In here is where your creation comes from. If you know the great spirit or God or whatever you call him, it's called a creation. It was the imagination of that creator to make what we have today. Now we have all these little splinters, which are us, and we're all part of the universe and we're all part of the system. And we're no different than a circuitry of boards of lights and stuff. Some of us fizzle out and some of us shine bright. Some of us are a good creation of a system that works, and some of us are not. Some of us aren't going to make it, man. Some of us are not willing to do, or some of us don't have the capability to do. Not because we don't want to, we just don't have the drive and the desire, the ambition, the know-how. Or we just bought into the story of somebody else's imagination, somebody else's creation. Because everything that we have here in the world, everything, there is nothing here on this planet that wasn't created by somebody else's supercharged, intellectual, God-loving mind. Because that's who we are. As human beings, we are creators. We are artisans of our worlds. We are the creators that create the world. We are the ones that make it. And we're the ones that create it. But we get so landlocked in our belief systems, in the way we think things should be. And then what happens is all that stuff holds us back. We get landlocked in politics. We get landlocked in ideologies. We get landlocked in religion. We get landlocked in culture, being sports or affiliation where we come from. We're human beings, but we separate ourselves through color, ethnicity, through I'm from this country, I'm from that country, I'm from this side of the world, I'm from that part of the place. This is what separates all of this. This is what creates the discord from humanity. The discord of humanity is that we want to be the same, but yet we want to be completely different. But we can't be different because we're too landlocked in our belief systems, our ideologies of stuff. And our ideologies and the beliefs that we've created hold us back. So what can you do to change that? What can it be to change that? It's going to take work for some of us. And for some of us, things come very naturally and very easy. But the majority of us, it doesn't. And I'm not trying to create limiting beliefs here. I'm not trying to create these limiting beliefs that you can't do it, because you can. But you have to believe that you can. Because if you don't believe that you can do it, it's going to be really hard. It's going to be difficult. Listen, some of us are comfortable having the trash can roll to the sidewalk and the trash truck pick it up in the morning, and then you come home and you pull it back up, walk into your house, get your paycheck every 2 weeks, watch your Netflix, drink your beer or your pop, and you call it a day. And you know what? And that's fine. I'm talking to those people out there who want to go beyond that, who want to go beyond that energy, that subtle control, manipulative energy that was put here from somebody else. Now, you don't have to work super hard to get what you want, where you want to be. You just have to know, and you have to have an imagination of dreams and desires that will move you there. This is why I call this episode the Imagination Station. The Imagination Station is you. You are the Imagination Station. You are that possibility of all possibilities that can happen. There are countless possibilities that can play out. But Iggy, I'm broke and I can't do it. Sure, I get it. Sometimes I'm broke and sometimes I have a lot and sometimes I have nothing. But you can't stop. And you have to get around people who have imagination too. You can't get around people who don't want to go anywhere. But a lot of us have done that. We get around people that are just content where they're at. And then, misery enjoys company. We start to find ourselves enjoying the company of the misery of the people who don't want to go any further, and they, or vice versa, join you in that walk, in that journey. So what will it take for you to move into that space and that energy? Okay, that place that will motivate you, inspire you to inspire others. Maybe you can't do it on your own. Maybe you need somebody to push you. Maybe you need somebody to say, hey, I need some help. But until we ask for that, we're never going to get that. But the cool thing about it is there's always hope. As long as we know where we're at. Knowing where we're at is very vital. That's the most vital piece and part of all this. Knowing that being here right now, in the now. Remember when we were in school, you say, oh, be in the now, man. There was some validity to that. And I like to say, be in the now, turn the words around, and we've won. We won. You win if you stay in the now, if you stay in the present moment. But it's hard to, because a lot of us have gone through so much stuff. Our stories become the writing on the wall, the thing that will hold us back, the reason why we can't move into the spaces we are, and the reason why we can't go forward. We can't go that way because, I was hurt. I was abandoned. My mom died. My father died, which all happened to me. This happened to some of you. I lost everything. Okay. Is that going to be your story? Is that where you want to be? That's it? Listen, nobody will talk to you like this because everybody's afraid to hurt someone's feelings. I'm not here to stroke anybody and make anybody feel good. I'm only here sharing things that I've seen, things that I've learned, in the insights that I've gathered through the experiences that I've had with and without other people, all through my circumstances. But I do know this: when we become numb and we become closed off, that's what we become. We become that. We become that which we don't want to be. When we shut the doors on opportunities, that's what happens. They're shut. There are no opportunities. But if you want opportunities and you want to grow, then you have to step out of this. Oh, but Iggy, that's so hard. You don't understand my circumstances. No, I don't understand your circumstances, and I really don't care. If you really want to move out of your circumstances and you really want to go into the places you need to be, then you need to do all the things that you weren't doing, that you aren't doing. You have to do the complete opposite. If you're stuck, then look at why you're stuck. Look at why you're stuck. Look at why you can't move. Because we spend a lot of money in this country, especially in this country, to figure out what's in our head. And for someone to dissect and pull out of it and extrapolate the energy in there, that those stories that we put in there. Yeah, we've had some bad situations and things have happened to people, and I get it. I'm not here to discount any of that. But if you're ready to move, tell me, what will it take? What will it take to wake you up and put you into that place? What will move you? What will you harness? How can you grab onto that? I don't know. I don't know until I have a deep, intimate conversation with you and where you want to be. And for a lot of you, this conversation is hard to listen to. And it's difficult to listen to because you know what? You've heard it before from somebody else, or you've heard it from yourself. It's easy to become complacent. It's easy to just discard and just push away things that don't serve us, because that's what we do. That's what humans do. That's what we do. We like to mess it up. We really like discomfort. There's something about us being in the discomfort zone, being uncomfortable. There's something about that. I can't quite put my finger on it. Why? Sometimes it's because sometimes I think it gives us an excuse not to do the things we truly want to do and not be in the energy we want to be. It's okay if somebody else, we motivate, push someone else, because a lot of us can motivate and push a lot of people and not be successful in the same light that we think we should be. But we all like to help other people. We all like to see the other guy win. But what about you? Why don't you want to win? Why is it that you're not allowed to win? What part of you won't allow yourself to win? What part of your imagination has created and stifled you for you not to grow? Because you have to have an imagination to shut yourself off, to completely eliminate feelings and emotions and desires for you to move into a certain space. Because what else could it be? How could you want all this stuff and yet you can't move to that stuff or move to that space? Because it takes one word to say, "Oh, well, no, I can't have that. No, I'm not deserving that. Why am I deserving that? Why do I deserve that?" Because I'm here to tell you, you deserve what you deserve. You get what you put out. The universe doesn't distinguish and doesn't differentiate, what you get. Like I tell my students, the universe says yes to everything. The universe says, am I going to get that? Yes. Am I not going to get that? Yes. Because that's how it works. The universe hears. And the thing is, we don't get a lot of the stuff we want. We get patterns of things. So when we ask for things, we get these patterns. We get these like, let's say you want a new car. Okay. New is a very vague word, because if you never had a car, any car is new to you. Okay. So if you want a brand new off the showroom floor, then that's different. Being specific and being to the point and being articulate how you want things is very powerful and very magical. Look at all the things that you've gotten, the things that you feel that you are successful at, all the things that you feel that you've actually won and the things that you've done. Look back and reflect and go, that's interesting. I did get that. But I got something similar to that. And a lot of it's similar energy. I'm still working on this part of myself to be specific and to the point and to be, how it should be. Listen, a doctor who does open heart surgery, okay, you want that doctor to be good, right? You want that doctor to know what he's doing. You want that brain surgeon to be good. You don't want a brain surgeon to go, well, I just kind of want to be a brain surgeon. I just kind of want to learn it in case I have to do it. Someone's tinkering inside your head, your heart, your spirit, your soul. It's no different than your spirit and your soul. But a lot of us, we go through this energy thinking that, we're not good enough, that we're not valuable enough. Well, I'm here to tell you this. You're only as valuable as you want to be. If you truly want to find and move into the energy you want to, then you have to trust the process. Listen, I've had people say, well, I want to meet somebody, or I want this. Well, what's that person look like? Oh, it doesn't matter. I said, are they blonde? Are they brunette? Oh, it doesn't really matter. As long as they're nice to me, blah, blah, blah. That's not specific, man. That's not, you're just going to get whatever. Okay. You're just going to get whatever. You're going to get you're going to get people to come in your life that resemble that energy. Like if you want somebody who want to come into your life, but be realistic about it. Be open-hearted about it. Be generous about it. I want this person to look like this. I want them to be 5'3", 6 foot, blonde hair, blue eyes. I want her to have, it's like finding a car, right? If you just say car, you get car. You might end up with a matchbox, a little matchbox car. But you get a car. The universe doesn't differentiate, doesn't distinguish. It doesn't play the games like, oh, what did he want? Oh, what did Iggy really want? Did he wanted a car? Iggy wanted a car. I wonder what kind of car Iggy wants. Well, he didn't say, so I'm just going to get my car. And so the universe gives me a car. Whatever that car looks like. I'm looking for a car. I know I have one right here somewhere. But anyhow, so all these things and all these places that we go to is your imagination. Imagine what this person looks like. Imagine what this car looks like. Imagine, because you have to put the energy and the vibration to it in order to receive it. Because if you don't put the energy to it, you're just going to get whatever you get. And if you're content with that, then that's fine. I'm not content with that. I'm content to knowing that this is what I want. If I want a house, I want my house to look kind of like I want. This is why people make storyboards. You've seen storyboards. People paint pictures, they cut out pictures, and they place them on the board. And this is kind of what they want. Why do they do that? Because they want to stimulate the brain. They want to stimulate the imagination. They want to stimulate the circuitry inside their head. And they want to stimulate, when it starts to stimulate here, it starts to go through your body. It starts to course through your heart. It starts to go into your stomach. It starts to go into your legs, into your arms. You'll start to do what you need to do to achieve the things you'll do. And nothing will stop you. It doesn't matter what you do. You'll work harder and stronger and faster in your job, or you'll become self-employed, or you'll become an entrepreneur. There's a big difference between entrepreneur and self-employed, okay, and being financially independent. There's big differences. Now, some people have, like I mentioned earlier, have a head start, but that doesn't guarantee that you're going to succeed. Success is based on what the work that you still put in. Even if your parents had all the money in the world and you were not appreciative and motivated to that, I can tell you this for a fact. My dad gave me a restaurant. I didn't want a restaurant because I knew the hard work and the desire had to be there. Now, my friends thought I was crazy. Oh my God, I wish someone had given me a business, but it wasn't my dream. It wasn't my imagination. It wasn't the thing that I wanted. It wasn't the thing that was moving me. Could it have been? It could have been. But I watched the steps and I watched the way my parents lived. I watched the destruction of the family. I watched all the things that I did not want. All those things. And I didn't know how to separate that from where I was at. Yeah, I was grateful. But I remember one of my best teachers in the world, my dad. We always remember all the good things about people. We always remember all the good things once they're gone. But there's things that aren't so comfortable about people. And when my dad used to tell me, you're nothing without me. You'll not never make it. You'll never be successful without me. You need my help, blah, blah, blah. Man, he ingrained that in my head as a young kid. And I believed it. And then one day I woke up and I'm going, I don't believe that. So what did I do? I became defiant and I left. I left the family. I went off and started a business. That one failed. That one succeeded. Finally came back to the restaurant, one day, and he's like, and I came back because I wanted to help my family. I wanted them to succeed. I wanted them to be better. But it wasn't my dream. And of course, my dad's like, see, I told you couldn't do it without me. And I was crushed. Okay? I was crushed, man. I was just like, is he right? Is this guy right? Now, rest my dad, may his soul rest in peace. He's no longer with us. But I woke up the other day, I'm going, what's your problem? Excuse me. I mean, to me, I was like, what's your problem? I looked in the mirror and said, what's your problem? What's holding you back? Your dad's no longer on this plane. Your dad's no longer pulls the heartstrings and has control over you or says anything. But the story that I wrote in my head, the story I wrote in my heart, the story that I wrote in my gut, in the three brains, right? The brain, the heart, and the gut, the stomach. The three brains. Because they all work together. I wrote this story and I bought into my own story. I bought into the story because the person in front of me, I held them in high regard, high esteem. It's your dad, man. It took me so many years to move through that energy. And I went through so many coaches and counselings and stuff, just trying to figure it out. And then the whole time, it was just a decision I had to make, a decision to say, okay, I'm done. I'm done. It doesn't matter what anybody else says. It doesn't matter what that guy says or that woman says. But yet we buy into the stories. We buy into the stories. You know, but the stories of our parenting or our parents is probably the most one that stuck with us the most. The one that triggered me the most in my life. But here I am now. Here I am an adult. Here I am. 56 years old, 56-year-old man, asking myself a question the other day. What are you waiting for? Because I know that I have not reached or haven't, and I will be always reaching the next plateau of my existence, the next precipice. I will get there. There is no there, my friends. There is no I've arrived. It's a constant journey and evolution of self. We're constantly evolving. We're constantly becoming bigger and better because we're always preparing for our journey when we leave this earth. You know, we all are born and we all die. Those two guarantees have been written. Those two we can't change. Because we're here, we're born. You know, we can't just say, I want to go back, I'm done. It doesn't work like that. But we know that one day we will die. Now, how you experience life in the middle, that's up to you. And that's what I'm here to share with you. How do you want to experience everything in the middle? How do you want to experience all this? What does this all mean to you? What does this mean? How does this feel? You know, if there's a problem and you're there, you're part of the problem. You know, but you're part of the solution too. You're part of the solution. But anyhow, you know, the imagination factor is, you know, there isn't anything that we can't create that hasn't already been created. And there's nothing new under the sun, like they say. Granted, most of you have been in the situation where you've been watching TV and you go, oh my God, that was my idea. Sure, you birthed the idea, you planted the seed, but you were not the gardener. You were not the person who sowed the seeds. You created the thought, but you didn't sow it. You didn't plant it. Don't get confused. There's a difference between thinking about it and then planting the seed and sowing that seed to grow. This is why people who are in business, okay, know their limitations. They know that they're not good at certain things. This is why people who have a lot of money know that they lack in certain departments. And they bring in people who are better than them in marketing, in banking, in finance. It's because they have the imagination. When you have the imagination, the creation, listen, I don't know what you're thinking about right now. I don't know where your mind is. I'm not sure where you would like to travel to or what you would like to see. But regardless, you have something rolling around in your head. We all do. There is no human being who doesn't think about things that they would like to have or places they would like to visit. But the majority problem is that people don't have the right vehicle to get them to the place they want to be. It's the vehicle that gets you there. Now, all of us can get into a car and drive and get to point A to point B, depending on the car, right? But we can get there. But if we want to go across the ocean, we can't get in a car. So we have to get a boat or a submarine or a plane, right? It's the vehicle. Do you have the right vehicle? This is one of the things that we don't know. In our imagination, when we're creating, do you have the right vehicle? Are you driving? Are you manifesting with the right tools? In your imagination, when you're creating, you know, are you creating these things? Listen, when when we worry too much about the external world and how it treats us and what it doesn't give us, then you've lost. You've lost because there's nothing you can do except for control what's inside your heart and your spirit. You see injustice, yeah, it's there. You can address it. You can, go to it and say, "Hey, injustice, you're bad," or you can move in another direction, like, "Well, I'm going to find ways to create less injustice," because sometimes we get buried into this little enclave of emotions, and then we get stuck there. We get stuck there. We can't move out of there because we've been taught to get stuck there. We've been taught to get in there and dwell in there. We've been taught to fester in that energy. We've never been taught to look at something and say, "Well, what's the solution to that?" If you've had that, then I applaud you. You're very fortunate because not everybody's had that opportunity. So where would you like to go? What would you like to see? I had a dream about a week ago, and it was the Willy Wonka song. It's called Pure Imagination. Remember that song? Pure imagination. Da 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 da. Look up the lyrics. I don't have them with me, but I was so fascinated by it. So I was dreaming this song, and then it got stuck in my head, and I kept finding every version of that song. And and I'm thinking, who wrote that song? I'm still researching it. I'm still, because it means that I'm still not imagining deep enough. I'm still not creating deep enough. I'm still not doing the quality work that I should be doing. This is me self-reflecting, because there's a part of me going, I need to imagine more. I need to create more. I need to be open my mind and expand and be open to all the possibilities that can come. And I know that there are moments I'll have limiting belief systems, but my imagination will never stop. Listen, people created amusement parks, cities, records, flashlights, pill bottles, glasses. This wasn't someone's idea, someone's imagination. Oh, I wish I could create this thing that would just make things so much easier for everybody. And blah, 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 blah. It just goes on and on. You know what I'm talking about. You get where I'm going with this. What have you done, and where do you want to do? Where do you want to take your imagination station? What would you like to create today? What is it that you have wanted to create but haven't created? What is it that you think that could be created or needs to be created, but you're not willing to do the work? Because if you're not willing to do the work, it makes it difficult. But if you have ideas and imaginations, then share it with other people, because they may have a piece and part of that story that you can all build together. And a lot of people don't do things. Because, "I don't want anybody to steal my idea. I don't want anybody to steal my work." Listen, I get that, and I respect that. But this is a creating universe. This is a universe of creativity. Man didn't go to the moon by accident. It wasn't just like, "Oh, we're just going to go to the moon." Man is not just going to go to Mars because it's an accident, because we went to the moon. There's a lot of complications when you start to think about the moon, and you start thinking about, the Mars. Where's our imagination to create on this planet? Where is it that we can make this planet a better place? Think if we took the imaginations inside of our heart or spirit. Ask any little kid, and they'll give you the answer. Why do we need to travel 6 months that way, or so many days that way in space, to find the answer when the answer is right here? How do we make this a better place? How do we make this a better world? How? Our imagination, our creation, our dreams, our desires. We can make this a better world. This world's not dying. We're dying. We're dying because we don't dream anymore. We don't imagine anymore. Because it's easy for us to blame everything outside, external of us. That's the problem. That's the issue. It's that guy. It's that person. It's that car. It's that industry. It's that country. It's this or that. It's us. We've taught people not to create. We've taught people not to dream. We've taught people not to have imagination. We've taught people to not care. And people care, but they don't care anymore. People are just trying to live and survive. People are just trying to find the next meal. That can't happen on this planet. If we're as evolved as we think we are, there should be no people sick. There should be no people without. There should be no hunger. There should be no poverty. I'm not saying there's not going to be conflict and disruption and discord, but there should be no reason why this world that we live in, people don't have. It doesn't make sense. You know, when we have such tangible and honoring religions, these religions and these manifestations of these creations of these deities and these gods that preach love, and yet we still struggle. We still struggle to give clean water, food to people in the world, because people are waiting for somebody else to save them. People are waiting for them to bail them out, because we stripped them of their imagination. We've stripped them of their desires and dreams and goals. We've taught them that all you need to do is work and survive and make it to the next day. And this is why people who are in poor countries don't have, because we've taught them to learn to beg, learn to put their hands out. Because the people who have a responsibility. That means you and me have a responsibility, because we have. If you're on this phone and you're watching me, you have more than you think. We have a huge responsibility to help those to help themselves. I didn't say you have to give away all your belongings and give away all your stuff. That's not what I'm saying. Use your creative imagination, how you will help humanity. Because there's answers to that. There's answers to that. Sometimes we'll look at it, sometimes we won't. But we have answers to that. There's answers to help humanity. Not everybody's well. Not everybody is in the capacity, in the right mind, or have the mental capacity to do or help themselves. I understand. I'm not frivolously just throwing out stuff here. But there are those folks that we know we can help them. And you know, sometimes it's more taxing, it's more difficult, because their story is so real. It's so real to them that they can't even separate the reality from the fiction, because they've been so poor and so down. And the same with rich people. They've been so rich so long that they live in their ivory castles, and then they get lost in their own stories too. And then they think because they give away lots of money that they've fixed and helped people, which is not true either. There are great humanitarians in this world, and I don't want to discount or take away from them, because I know they are. Some we know and some we don't. Some share their passion and their imagination, their dreams, and who they are we'll never know, and that's irrelevant as long as it's helping humanity. We have a crisis, we're always going to have a crisis. There's always a crisis in this planet. Oh, it's global warming. There's always been global warming. The earth has always been hot or cold. We don't help because we contribute to it. That's the difference. But people don't speak correctly. People don't share correctly. They just shoot out of their mouth whatever they think is going to come out. Speak correctly. Humanity is suffering by the decisions that we're making. Not Mother Earth. Mother Earth if she becomes toxic, she's still Mother Earth, and we can no longer live on her crust, on her nervous system, as we call it. She's the nervous system. The earth, the soil, the dirt is her nervous system. Then that's not her fault. That's our fault. But she will reclaim. She will redo. She will remake, because that's what she does. Because she has an imagination. She has the imagination to recreate herself. She has the imagination station. If I become toxic, then I will become a new version of myself. If the planet can do it, you can do it. Listen, Mother Earth, if she lost her ozone and everything was gone, granted, things would be different, but she would still be another existence. Just like you. If you want to create a new existence of yourself, then you're going to have to do things that you're not comfortable doing. You're going to have to do things that aren't what you think you need to do. Then you have to do things that you know you have to do. Listen, if we deplete the earth of all her natural resources and we totally wipe her out, we die. We're done. For having lack of imagination. We had imagination when we knew how to drill her. We had imagination when we created cars, yeah. But we didn't have the foresight of imagination to create new things in order to move into that space. And this is what humans lack sometimes, the foresight to move into the imagination station of their hearts and their spirit and the soul. We know deep down inside what we need to do, but we won't do it. We think we've done it, but if we think we keep our mouth shut and no one hears us, then we're just guilty not doing it. So what will you do today and tomorrow and the next day in the present moment? Because once the past is done, you're in the present. Because that was the present, now you're here. It's over, it's done. As we move from the past to the present becomes the future is the present. As soon as you move into the future, you're in the present. It's a constant evolution from point A to point B to C, A, B, C. You know? And we have time, but sometimes we don't feel like we do. And I think that's what holds people back. I'm too old. I'm not gifted enough. I'm not smart enough. If you buy into that story, then that story is true. Whatever you fill your head with, whatever you fill your heart with, whatever you fill your gut with, is true. So be careful what you're filling your brains with. Those three brains, your heart center brain, your logical brain, and your gut brain. Be careful what you fill them with. Be careful what you buy into and what you believe in, because you know what? It doesn't know the difference. It just knows what you feel. It just knows who you are. It's part of you. Listen, there was a creator that created you and me, and they had to have an amazing imagination to create us. Because just think of the intricacies of us, who we are, and all the things that we are as humans. All the little components and circuitries that it has to create us. The electricity that flows through us, because we have to have certain chemical components within our body of certain minerals in our system. That's amazing. That's creation. That's something that's bigger and more aware of things than us. And so here we are. Here we are. We create artificial intelligence, and we're its creator. And we want to make it better, faster, stronger. But just like humans, artificial intelligence strives to know its creator, just like we do. And it will struggle because it doesn't have the capacity of imagination. It has the capacity of programming. And the capacity of programming is just like us. We have the capacity of programming. Because when we get programmed, then the imagination of someone else has been inserted into our system. Most of us all kind of do the same thing. Some of us during the winter months, warmer months, we go and we plant things. But the majority of us, no, we all go to the store. We all go to the gas station. We all do the same thing. We buy clothes. We wear the same things. We support certain teams. because somebody else created that for us. Someone created that system for us. Someone gave that to us. But Iggy, that's the way it is. It's always been that way. Sure, I agree. But if we want to see any change in this world, we want to see anything different, it starts with us. It starts with us. There's nothing that can't be done as long as we put our heart, our mind, our spirit to it. So your imagination station, how will you create the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years of your life? Because, when you start to look at the clock, when you get to a certain age, things change prospectively of how you see the world. You may be young when you're 20 or 30, but then when you start hitting 40s and 50s, 60s, 70, we're not guaranteed our next breath. We're not guaranteed anything, but we are guaranteed this, that our imagination will continue even through our death, because we'll be creating till the day, for days and ever, because that's just how humans are. That's just how energy is. Energy is manifested, created, and compressed, and moved and used. So never quit, never give up, never stop. Remember, it's good to be here. Appreciate being here. And you may have the worst circumstances of anybody in the world, but in the certain pockets of moments, it's good to be here. Take advantage of that. All right, guys, I've said all I could possibly say or share with you. So I want to thank you for this opportunity to be with you on here on the show, Iggy Garcia Live. My episode 178, Imagination Station. I'm going to be at the Reiki Center this coming Saturday at 7 p.m. doing a drum circle healing gathering. If you can come and join us, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Come on out, drum, get some love, get some healing, get some positive vibes, some positive people, and be with like-minded people who want to see the world differently. All right, guys. It's good to be here. Ho'oponopono, matakuiasin. What is above is below. Irisikwi, which means gratitude in Quechua. And with that, I want to say aho. Thank you very much. Love you guys. Take care. We'll see you next time on Iggy Garcia Live, and I'll see you on all the different platforms. Join me on my YouTube channel. Subscribe to Iggy Garcia. It's good to be here. Check out all my other episodes that I've done. So with that, I want to say good night. Have a good evening, and I will talk to you guys soon. Be well.